it's Lori here. I am starting to wrap up and get ready to do Bookmas, but I did want to do some of what I've been loving recently. I will be very honest. I have been so bad at note-taking stuff down in the past 2 months, so I'm going to do this from memory. I'm sure I have missed stuff, but I did want to talk through it because I am going to do like what I've been loving year long during Bookmas. So I just want to get this one done. So we have gone back to the movie theater. So I have seen a couple of movies with my dad in the movie theater. I don't know if I talked about Shang Chi earlier in our earlier wrap up, but I have been rewatching it once it was when I got home. So I did see Shang-Chi with my dad in late September, and I really, really like that movie. I'm really enjoying this new Marvel phase. I thought it was a nice start to a potential new series of 10 years of movies. I really like the actor. I love Awkwafina. I thought the story was really easy to follow. I think I'm going to show it to my kids for Christmas as well, so I'll probably get to see it like again. But I thought it was a really like interesting movie. I love diverse movies. I love learning about different mythologies and different characters. It was a really, really fun movie, and I just loved it. I'm actually in the middle of rewatching it again. So definitely a new favorite for me. And then me and my dad, we also went to go see Eternals. I'll try to attach a photo here of the movie poster. Very different. It wasn't at all what I was expecting. It was definitely a stellar cast, and I like that a lot. I think I still like Shang-Chi like a little bit more, but I think again, this is largely setting up a bigger picture for the next couple of years of Marvel, and I'm really intrigued by it. So it definitely wasn't my favorite movie, but the end credit scene blew my mind, so I'm really excited to see what happens like after the extra credit scene, like what happens in future movies. And I'm very excited. I am so excited for Spider-Man, which I'm going to see in December. I will definitely talk about that in my December and wrap up, but I am really excited for that movie. But this one was okay. I really enjoyed it. My dad was able to follow it. He sometimes struggles with really, really complicated Marvel movies. He did struggle with Endgame, but he didn't struggle with this one, so I call that a win. So those are the two movies that I think I saw in the movie theater. I don't think I saw anything else that I can remember. But let's get on to the physical movies I watched from my house. So a couple of physical movies I watched both Infinity War and Endgame. I am in the middle of a year-long reading challenge, and I was just in a boss battle for Thanos, like about Thanos, and I was just like, oh, I really need to like rewatch this movie. So I rewatched Endgame and Infinity War, and I really love them. They were really interesting on rewatch. I have not rewatched all of the Marvel movies, but those were two that I was really intrigued to keep watching. I definitely would like to rewatch Far From Home before I see his newest movie, but I did watch those relatively recently and was really happy with them. I think that the further the Marvel movies have gotten down the line, they have gotten really, really interesting and compelling. And I just really, really like those two movies a lot. I also watched a Halloween movie called Under Wraps. Here is a photo. Really cute. This is probably like a Disney DCOM movie. I know that they've been phasing out the Disney Channel, but I thought this was really, really fun. It follows these two characters, they're best friends. This new girl comes to town, and they wind up coming in contact with a zombie or a mummy, I think, and they have to like protect him. And it's a very, very cute movie. Very, very quick, very, very fun read. I didn't really listen and watch a lot of eerie and creepy things. I watched a couple of episodes of Cloak and Dagger, which was supposed to be my fall show, and I watched a couple of episodes of Cruel Summer. I didn't finish either of them. They both did not wow me. But I like them. So but I didn't like love either of them to keep finishing them. So yeah, so those two shows were ones that I liked. I was trying to get into the spooky and creepy season. It just did not happen this year, sadly. I also watched Legacies and Nancy Drew, trying to get into the eerie and creepy, and I started watching those two seasons. Those were the only two shows I actually started watching on. This is sort of off topic, but I just remember I was trying to get into the eerie and spooky season, And that's what I watched. I watched a couple of episodes of Nancy Drew, still in the middle of watching that, and watched a couple of episodes of Legacies, and I will probably now catch up onto that before the end of the end of the year. But those are just the eerie and creepy stuff that I wound up watching. It connected to Under Wraps because I was trying to watch some eerie and creepy stuff in that season, and I couldn't really find anything. But those were the things that I gravitated to during that season. Sorry, that wasn't movies, but they were TV shows that connected to the theme. And then the last movie I watched was the Billie Eilish concert for Happier Than Ever, and I really liked it, but here is a photo or the picture of it. Concerts are mostly due to the pandemic, but I actually really like them. I think because I don't always get to see all the concerts that I would like to, and it was just really interesting and just very, very compelling. I liked it. It was very, very well shot. I really like Billie Eilish's music. I really need to sit down one day and listen to the whole CD along with Taylor Swift's Red, which I have also not listened to, but I really did like the video, the movie, the 60-minute movie that I saw about it, because it was very, very interesting. So yeah, those were the movies at home that I watched. Again, there was some TV shows tossed in there just for spooky season. I didn't watch any I didn't rewatch Hocus Pocus. I didn't do anything, but it was sort of a weird couple of months, just entertainment wise. I wasn't really motivated to watch anything, and I think that that's sort of why I wasn't making a list of everything. But I will talk about the TV shows that were mostly all on Disney Plus that I was able to finish, and then we'll go into some actual activities I did in the past couple of months. I did wind up finishing Turner and Hooch on Disney Plus, which follows, I think his name is Joshua Peck. Follows him as he's a policeman, but he gets tagged with his dad's old dog, and they wind up solving crimes together. Here is a photo of the picture. It's based on a movie that I think it was someone was in. I can't think of who it originally did, but it's based on a movie. But here is a photo. The Lindsay Facetta, who was in Agent Carter. She was also the young girl in How I Met Your Mother. I loved her. I actually watched her a long time ago when she was on Young and the Restless, but this was such a fun procedural cop show. I used to love Castle and shows like that. This was right up my alley. I just really liked it. I liked that there was a family element, there was a dog. It was a romance was developing. It was really, really cute. I really hope it gets a second season. But it was one that definitely had me captivated every single week. And every single Wednesday I would go on, I would watch that, and I would watch Loki, and I was really, really happy about it. So really hope we get a second season for this one as well. Watched Monsters at Work, and I thought this was just a really, really fun show. It's the sequel to Monsters Inc., and it just follows Mike Wazowski and Sully as they run the new company using laugh power instead of scare power, and Mindy Kaling is a voice. A lot of characters are voices, and it's just so fun and just so wholesome. It's 30-minute episodes, and then there's, for me as a theater teacher, the thing I really liked is at the very, very end, there was a little comedy lesson, and I could easily show this to my kids if we ever do improv. So I just really, really liked it. It was a very, very quick watch, very, very relaxing, and I really, really liked it. So I hope again that gets a second season. Probably very, very likely, because I'm sure it was super popular, but I really did like it. On my radar, but I'm so happy I watched it, and it is the Doogie Howser reboot called Kamelaheo. Doogie Howser, Kamelaheo. I adored this show. Loved it so much. If you have not checked it out, definitely check it out. But here is the movie poster or the TV poster. Rock. Neil Patrick Harris was the original Doogie Howser. That came out, I think, in the 80s, maybe even younger than that, maybe 70s. But he was this genius boy who was a doctor. So they rebooted. It's set on Hawaii, which immediately is amazing. It follows the girl. It stars the girl from Andy Mack. And also the Undercover Royal Society. I don't know her I think it's named Peyton. I think that's her actual first name. I adored this show. I loved that it was set on Hawaii. I loved that her mom worked at the hospital with her. She had two brothers. There was romance. There was a really, really fun best friend dynamic. There was also a medical element. I love medical shows. Like, I used to watch House back in the day. I watched The Good Doctor. Currently, I love shows about medical, but I love that there was a teen at the heart of it. So it was a nice balance, and it was set in Hawaii, and it was just so, so pretty. I don't know if it was actually set in Hawaii, but it made me think it was set in Hawaii. It also could have probably been set in, like, literally set in California, and I probably wouldn't have noticed, but it was just so pretty. Very, very, very cute. Very, like, just a perfect show. I loved watching it every single week, and it just put a smile on my face. So definitely one that if you've not watched, I would definitely recommend you check it out. Watched Loki. This one was the one that I struggled with a little bit, but once I started watching, I was really intrigued by it. I will still say my favorite show that they've put out so far is definitely WandaVision, but I love Tom Hiddleston. I will watch anything he does. So I really did like this one at the end of the day, and here is a photo. Expecting, but I liked it. It reminds me a little bit of like Legends of Tomorrow, and I really have enjoyed Legends of Tomorrow whenever I'm up to date on it. But I just thought it was interesting. Like, it was one show I really had to like think about. It was a show that I had to really watch and not do anything, like not craft or do anything with. But I really liked it, and I'm intrigued to see where Loki's gonna go next. And it was just a really, really fun watch. And I have been loving all the Marvel's property shows. I have not finished watching What If. I'm in the middle of that. I'm also in the middle of watching Schitt's Creek. So I got like 2 seasons into that. I really am liking it. I just have been doing like other things and been like really, really distracted. I'll be a little bit honest. And a couple of other like documentaries. I rewatched The Vow, and I rewatched the NXIVM documentary because I was listening to an audiobook and just motivated to rewatch that stuff. But yeah, so I'm in the middle of I'm in the middle of watching for the first time Schitt's Creek, and I hope to finish a majority of that in 2022. And then I did actually do some like physical things that I just like totally forgot about. But I did wind up going back to Broadway. I was able to see 2 shows pretty much back to back. I was able to see Wicked. That was the first show I saw when I went back to Broadway. It was great, a delight. I probably started Wicked about 10 years ago, maybe. So it was just nice to go back and make that my first show back. I got a really, really cool shirt. And then me and my friend Jen went to go see Six, the musical, which I'm obsessed with the musical and like the album. I've been listening to it like nonstop on the train ride to and from work. Such a delight. It's just such a fun, like hip rock musical, which I was not expecting. But you're basically following all of Henry's wives as they kind of try to prove to the audience who had the hardest life. The songs are really, really cute, and I just love that one as well. I also went to New York City Comic-Con this year, which was definitely a smaller event due to the pandemic. I was happy that I went. I know a lot of people on Twitter and stuff were really, really disappointed by it. I was not disappointed because I had never had an opportunity to go to Artist Alley or to go to any panels because I'm always so obsessed with books and getting all the books I want. So this was like a very, very relaxed convention for me. I got a lot of artwork. I got to go to Artist Alley. I got to go to some panels. I was intrigued by like just about everything. I had a really, really nice time. I went in with super low expectations. I was able to meet some authors that I wasn't even expecting to meet. That was great. It was a really, really fun experience. I'm hopeful next year we'll be hopefully in a better spot and we can have the full-blown convention that we've had in past years. But for what we could do in 2021, I was really happy with it. Another fun thing that I did is I went to go see the GOAT tour about with Simone Biles, and I loved it. It was like just so special to see all the Olympians live and in person. I got to see the tour 5 years ago. This one was Simone Biles, her own tour. And it was just such a different experience than seeing the USAG tour that has done in the past. And I really, really liked it. So yeah, those are all the things that I believe that I finished in person. I did start listening to some more podcasts. I started listening to the Morbid podcast. I'll be very, very honest. That's where a lot of my listening hours went the past 2 months when I found Morbid, I just listened to like binge watched all of her episodes. I also started listening to Prophecy Radio, which is a new podcast by Subjectify Media that follows the Percy Jackson fandom following Karen and Kristen and the gang from Hypable, because Hypable wound up closing during this couple of months. It closed recently, so they started their own entertainment news site. So look up Subjectify Media and go file all their podcasts. The one that I've been listening to the most is Prophecy Radio, and I hopefully, when Rewatchable comes back to watching TV shows, I will be able to do that. They're watching movies right now, and it's just not my jam. But those are all the things that I've been up to. I will try to hit my computer, and it turned off my camera. But let me know in the comments what are some things that you've been loving. I've also spent a majority of this month Christmas crafting. Like the last 2.5 months has been a lot of Christmas crafting, and I've been making calendars. The thing with when I make calendars is that I need to listen to something that I've already listened to, because it's very, very focused work. So I would listen to Morbid, I would listen to some true crime podcasts. I would not watch anything new. And that's really what happened. I would have so few hours to watch something new that it would be like an episode of Schitt's Creek, because a lot of my time on the weekends I would be crafting, and because I had to make 14 calendars, and I just did not have the bandwidth to do that and watch something new. So I'd rewatch something I've rewatched before. I'd rewatch some true crime things. I listened to some audiobooks. So it was just a little bit of a weird couple of months, because I couldn't really focus when I was crafting on anything, and it was becoming a little bit of a problem. But I'm done. I literally just finished all my holiday crafting. So in December I will have less of that. I will also be filming a bunch of videos for you all. But let me know in the comments what are some things you have loved recently, and I'll talk to you soon for my next video. Bye, friends.